There are three main types of ski bindings: downhill, alpine touring, and telemark. Each is different in function and form. Standard downhill ski bindings use a heel and toe piece to connect the skier to the ski. There are both adult and junior bindings. Many downhill skis feature integrated binding systems, which are designed to allow a better flex over the entire ski. Traditional ski bindings can limit the flex of the ski right underneath the boot. If you're buying a ski with an integrated binding, then you're limited to those available options, but this isn't a bad thing because the bindings available have been chosen to be suitable for that particular ski. When you're buying a ski that can accept any binding, you want a binding that can release in multiple directions to reduce the chance of injury, especially during a fall, because if the ski doesn't release, that's actually a really common cause of injuries, and it's really important for people with knee issues. More release directions will increase the binding price. The DIN rating for bindings is a value which relates to the force required to release the boot from the binding. More advanced skiers will want bindings with higher release values. Advanced skiers may want bindings which have a DIN up to 12 in most cases. Higher DIN value bindings tend to be built stronger and have an increased price. If you're skiing on fat skis, you'll need to make sure the binding break is wide enough for your ski. If you have a 115mm waist, you don't want a break that's 90mm wide. Also, if you're using wide skis, you can get bindings that are designed to fit wider skis, allowing for better edge pressure. Telemark bindings attach the boot to the ski using only a toe piece. Two main designs are available. One, the traditional cable binding, which has a cable that loops around the boot with a lever locking the boot in place. The second is an NTN binding, which locks the boot in without a cable. They're considered to have better edge control and increased lateral stability. Each type requires a specific boot type. Boots used with cable bindings have an extended toe welt, which can make it a little bit harder for walking. NTN boots do not have an extended toe welt and are better for walking in. They're also newer and fewer models are on the market, but if you're buying an entire setup, this might be your best choice, especially if you're ski mountaineering and will be hiking or climbing in the boots. If you already own or enjoy cable bindings and do not want to replace your boots, there are many cable bindings available on the market and are by far the most common. A cable binding setup will be lower cost as well. Most tele bindings have cartridges, which can be swapped to stiffen the binding. This is a good option as you improve and want a stiffer binding. Telemark bindings allow skiers to climb uphill because the heel is not attached to the ski. But for skiers who want to climb up the mountain and want a locked down heel for the descent, there are alpine touring bindings. Alpine touring bindings allow the skier to have the heel free for the climb up, but then locked down for the descent. These are gaining in popularity with many new models available. There are two main types, one which connects the boot with the pins, and the other which functions similarly to a downhill binding that the skier just steps into. Step-in models are typically heavier than those pin models. Pin models require specific AT boots with special connection points. These are easily recognizable as metal inserts on each side of the toe welt. Some step-in models can use both AT boots and downhill boots. Pin bindings offer lighter weight and often better uphill performance. Step-in models allow for more boot options and are often burlier in design, but at an increased weight. Alpine touring bindings use a DIN release similar to downhill bindings, and skiers will need to buy accordingly, with heavier and more advanced skiers choosing bindings with higher DINs.